Hello, hello, yogis. Welcome to Sunday Sutras, your weekly dose of yogic wisdom. My name is Kelsey Delane. I am so glad that you are watching this video. I am coming to you from sunny Southern California. Hey, Rebecca. And I teach yoga here in Orange County, and my heart's desire, my mission is to share the wisdom teachings of the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali in hopes that you and I both can be better equipped to employ these teachings into our life, and in doing so to create more sustained joy and reduce suffering. So that is why I show up live every week, so that we can connect virtually. As you come and sign in and start watching this video, whether you're watching it on replay or live, I have a favor to ask. The more that you engage in this video through liking, through commenting, sharing your experiences, asking questions, the more you engage, the more I can serve you best. And the more people can see this video. Hey, Carrie Ann. So as you sign on, if you can give this video a like, say hello, that would really help support me in my effort to share these teachings. If you watched the video last week, we talked about self-care practices, 10 free ways to practice self-care, genuine self-care. So if you watched that video last week, and you employed at least one of those strategies that we covered, I want you to write yes in the comments so that we can celebrate and support you. And if you used one of those strategies and want to share your experience, how it impacted your week, please do so that we can uplift you, we can learn a little bit about ourselves in the meantime. Today's topic is how to respond to negativity with love. We can all relate, right? Let's face it. We experience unkindness. No matter how you show up in the world, you're going to come across negativity. And lucky for us, the sutras give us some suggestions on how we can best respond to different types of people in the world, because we are human beings surrounded by other human beings, and we're bound to have conflict and difficulty, and that's what we're talking about today. On Friday morning, I posted a live video on my personal Facebook page. And a decision that I've made as a human being as a yoga teacher is to be willing to put myself out there in this virtual platform to serve the community. And in being exposed, in letting myself be seen, in sharing my message, I'm willing to be seen. And like Brene Brown says, if you're willing to step into the ring, then you better brace yourself for catching flack sometimes. And part of being vulnerable is having the courage to be seen and to know that other people are going to craft opinions and thoughts and feelings about what you say, what you do, who you are, etc. And that's just part of the exchange. So part of the exchange of me being able to share on this platform is that other people are going to have opinions about it. And so far, you all have been very loving, but this Friday was different for me. Friday morning, I made a live video on my personal page in response to the tragedies that have happened in Orange County in the last couple of weeks. Just in the last few weeks, there have been multiple teen deaths by suicide, and it is absolutely devastating for so many reasons, on so many levels. And I chose to show up in tears and raw emotion to express my heartbreak and to ask myself and to ask you all what can be done. And I touched on the way that we show up in our own life, how we walk through feelings, how we choose to ask for help, how we create moments for connection and give our attention to other people in order to remind ourselves and others that we're not in this alone. And in showing up in that raw emotion and full of love and full of compassion, I got a message a couple hours later from someone that I've known in my past that I haven't spoken to in years. And the message started out with, "I call bullshit on your live video." And she proceeded to explain that the reason that my video was bullshit is because I was a bad friend. Hey, Shervin. I was a bad friend. She attacked my integrity and my character and claimed that my video was disingenuous. So I responded to that message, expressing that her message was incredibly unkind and hurtful and untrue, that I stood by my message and every word I shared on that video, and that I wished her well. And then I blocked her from my Facebook. Then she found another avenue through my website to send me an email expressing again her accusations of my poor character and my lack of integrity, and how my video and my boundaries were both bullshit, and facetiously said, "I guess yoga teaches you to block any perceived negativity," which actually it does. So I chose not to respond to that email, and I will share with you why. First of all, hi Dulce. Both of those messages hurt, man. It hurt. I show up with my heart open, my heart on my sleeve, and my integrity and character is very important to me. So that is a blow to the heart for me, for someone to accuse me of being disingenuous is really hurtful. So for one, I was hurt. And secondly, I was reminded of this sutra in chapter 1, verse 33. So Sutra 133 says, "A peaceful mind results from a mental attitude of friendship towards those who are content, compassion towards those who suffer, joy towards virtuous individuals, and disengagement from those who act poorly." Disengagement from those who act poorly. So this sutra is basically saying there's 4 types of people that we'll come across. And here is the way to respond that will provide the most joy and the least amount of suffering. When people are content, befriend them, engage with them, care for them. When people are experiencing suffering, show compassion and benevolence towards them. When people are expressing or behaving in virtuous ways, celebrate them, lift them up, be joyful for them. And when other people are behaving dishonestly or corruptly, immorally, or unbecoming, then detach. We do not allow ourselves to be dragged into anything bad. That is what the sutra says. And let me clarify that I am 100% open to being called out if my behavior and my words, if my message and my actions are misaligned. I am 100% open to having dialogue about that. I am open to having a phone call, having a conversation about how I can be a better friend, how I can show up more authentically, how I can better align my actions with my words. What I'm not open to is being the scapegoat for someone else's unhappiness. What I'm not open to is having people involved on the perimeter of my life, not engaging in my life, not participating in my life, not being a member of my circle, but standing on the periphery of my life and then sending accusations from a distance about my character and my integrity without any solution, without any openness to taking responsibility for their own life, without any openness to dialogue. So that's the difference here. I'm 100% willing. If you ever want to call me out, if you hear me say one thing and then do another, please call me on the phone, set up a coffee date with me, and let's talk about how that made you feel and how I can grow. I am 100% open to that, but I am not open to spiteful, hurtful, unkind, untrue attacks of my character. And so to set a boundary between me, my raw heart, and the public world, the people that are on my personal Facebook page are friends of mine. They are friends of mine. So if you want to be included in that circle, then you need to be a safe person for me. And if you're not a safe person for me, then it is my right and it is my responsibility to care for myself enough to say, no, you are not welcome here in this sacred space of my raw emotion. And I believe wholeheartedly that detachment is loving, that you can lovingly remove people from your inner circle. You can create distance between you and other people, appropriate distance according to their behavior and whether or not they are a safe and prana building, prana is positive energy. If they are a prana building aspect of your life, they are welcome here. If someone is encroaching in my circle with negativity, with mala, and that's all they're bringing to the table, then I'll have to excuse them from the table and kindly say, you are not welcome here. With love, I wish you well. And I hope that you find a circle that fits you, but it's not mine. And that is 100% my prerogative. And I 100% stand behind that being incredibly loving. I am not responsible for anyone else's happiness. I am not responsible for anyone else's mental health. I am not responsible for anyone else's thoughts, feelings, opinions of me, or their actions. All I can do is make sure that I am honestly reflecting on how I show up. And I invite you to do the same. If you experience conflict or an interaction with one person or a group of people that causes friction, get honest with yourself about what it is that's serving you about this interaction or this relationship. If it genuinely does serve you, what can you do to show up differently, to bring prana, bring positivity to the table, bring openness, bring humility to hear the other person, and also be willing to say, no, that doesn't work for me. No, I will not be held responsible for your behavior. No, I will not be held responsible for your happiness. And setting those boundaries really clearly so that you can take care of yourself. It doesn't always feel comfortable to do those things, but ultimately, the promise of interacting with people in this way is that you will have a peaceful mind. That when I am choosy about who I engage with and who I disengage with, I have a more peaceful mind. And this is very, very different. I want to be clear. This is very different than being closed-minded and refusing to open yourself up to other people's perspectives. It is not about just blocking out anything that doesn't feel good. That's not what I'm advocating. What I'm advocating is using discernment to recognize who is safe to be in your inner circle, who belongs there, who tends to your heart, who fills you up with love and positivity, who calls you out on your bullshit lovingly and honestly and in a willingness to have a dialogue. those people belong in your inner circle. Those people belong in your daily life and participating with you. But when someone's attitude is heavy, negative, toxic, or impinges on your ability to be your authentic self, then you get to ask yourself, what is this serving me? And you can detach with love. There is nothing unloving about creating space between you and another person. In fact, Detach says that the key to healthy relationships is the appropriate distance. The key to healthy relationships is the appropriate distance. So this person, although I've known them almost my whole life, the appropriate distance between me and this person is for them to not be a Facebook friend of mine, because I don't need that kind of unsafe contribution, unkind contribution, when I know that I choose to show up vulnerably. And part of showing up vulnerably is having the wisdom to know when that's appropriate and who that's appropriate with. So if I'm showing up with an open heart, a tear-stained face to purge my deepest feelings and thoughts, then I get to decide who is safe to be in that circle. And the appropriate distance for me and this person is not for her to have access to those raw emotions of mine. And I get to protect myself, showing myself love and her love as well, in wishing her well away from my vulnerable heart. Shervin, thanks for sharing. Key to healthy relationships, appropriate distance. Yeah, buddy. So if this is relating right now, let me know. If this feels totally foreign right now, let me know, because I see a common tendency for yogis or anyone that's on a path, a mission to be their best self. Sometimes we think it's our job to take care of everybody else. It's our job to make sure that they're happy. It's our job to make sure they're comfortable. And I'm here to let you know that it is not your job to make sure everybody else is taking care of their emotions and they're comfortable and they're pleasant. That is not your job. You can take the burden of being responsible for other people off of your shoulders and instead turn your attention to yourself and take full responsibility for yourself. What am I feeling today? What could I do differently or more loving today? Do I need to ask for help, right? And so the same way that we are not responsible for other people's feelings, we're not responsible to read other people's minds and to know that they need help without them asking. The same goes for us. We are responsible for making our needs known. If you feel lonely, friend, then reach out. If you need to go have coffee with someone and share your heart, or you need solitude, or you need fun, whatever it is you need, you, my friend, are responsible for recognizing that. You are responsible for asking for that. If you need help from someone else to facilitate, you are responsible for creating the connection that you need. And I am responsible for doing the same for me. And when each of us is fully held accountable for our own happiness, our own willingness to process, to experience and digest our emotions, to be clear about what our needs are, when we each take responsibility for ourselves, then we show up as a more whole person, and then we're able to be a better friend. We're able to be more compassionate because we know that our needs are being met. We are being filled up with prana. So if you need to go back to last week's video and look at the 10 strategies that are totally free that you can employ to take better care of yourself, hey Glenn, then go take a look at that list and start implementing those strategies on a more regular basis so that you are tending to your own heart and your own needs more effectively, more courageously, And in taking responsibility for yourself, then you can show up to be a better friend. And you can be confident, just like I was, to be accused or to be delivered an unkind message, for someone to attack you, and you'll have the discernment to say, you know what? I'm willing to be wrong. And what you said is unkind, and what you said is untrue. So I'm going to protect myself from the mala, the negativity, the garbage that creates in my own heart. I'm going to protect myself from that by saying no thank you and sending you on your way. So you are a physical being, but you also, I like to picture a bubble. We talked about this last week, your prana bubble. Or if you prefer, like a hula hoop, imagining a hula hoop surrounding you, so that you have your physical boundary, your physical body, but you also extend outward a little bit. And I envision it like this big bubble of prana, or positive energy, that's surrounding me. And I get to decide what I let in and out of this permeable bubble. So when I'm giving prana through teaching yoga, through showing up for my friends, through making online videos, I'm giving of my prana, and it's my responsibility to maintain this fullness so that I'm fueled up, because I can't give from an empty cup, and neither can you. So I'm not going to let people poke holes in my bubble. And if people start poking holes in my bubble, I'm going to patch that hole, say, ouch, that hurt. I'm going to allow myself to cry and to express that, dude, my feelings were straight hurt. Like, I spent most of Friday then processing not only the heartache for the loss of these teens and their families, but then also the hurt feelings that I had of being attacked that way. So I did the mending, I did the patching, and I'm still going to do that, because I'm sure it's going to come up, because now every time I show up live, I have this little inkling about being criticized. You know, what are people going to say? What are people going to think? And I get to recognize that and continue to patch that hole. So I'm not just leaking prana everywhere and walking around as an empty vessel trying to give from an empty cup. That's not going to work out. It's not going to work out for me. It's not going to work out for any of my students or any of my friends or my family that I work hard to take care of and show up lovingly for. So that's my invitation for you today and this week and the months to come, is to give yourself permission to distinguish that you can be both loving and choose to detach from people in your life, or groups of people in your life, or environments that you come across, that it is loving towards yourself and towards the other party to create distance, whatever that distance looks like, that in fact you can be both loving and detach at the same time. So try that on this week. See how it feels. If you notice discomfort coming up, or maybe guilt, feeling like, oh my gosh, this is so foreign, notice that. And that's part of what we talked about last week with the journaling, is if this is a brand new practice, because remember, yoga is contrary action aimed at refinement. So we are working to refine ourselves by doing things differently. And if you tend to take on other people's hurts and feelings, and other people's opinions really weigh you down, then there's where your work lies. That is the aha, ding, ding, pay attention to me moment, where you can spend some time journaling about that. If that helps you flesh it out, spend time in solitude, whatever helps you process, so you can become aware of how it feels for you to try this new behavior. And then watch how it creates change. Does it bring more positivity in your life? Does it bring more negativity in your life? Be open to the result, and then willing to adjust based on the reality of the impact that this new behavior has on your life. So try that on. responding to negativity with love can absolutely 100% mean distancing yourself from that very negativity, observing how that feels for you, being honest with yourself about where you can show up more lovingly, and being willing to be flexible and adaptable and change your approach based on what you uncover in your process of reflection, of svadhyaya, of self-study in this practice. So thank you, friends, for being willing to lend me your ear for 30 minutes. Thank you for your love. When I show up vulnerably, like, I'm not gonna lie, this is hard. Like, it's not easy for me just to like show up and talk about my feelings and share what I'm working on and do my best to take wisdom teaching from Yoga Sutras and implement it into my life and walk you through doing it the same. It's not easy. I don't do it because it's easy. I do it because I know that it brings me more joy ultimately to be seen and heard, so that I know I'm not alone and that I can allow you to walk alongside me as we take this journey together. So thanks for showing up. Thanks, Shervin. You're taking your golden nuggets here. Woo-hoo! Hey, Cassie, good to see you. So please share with me, yogis, whether you're more comfortable writing a comment or sending me a direct message or a text message, for all that matters. If you have my phone number, reach out, because we need each other. I need you. And I hope that this served your week. Sending you so much love. And you know what? Keep the hate to yourself. If you don't like my video, then don't watch my video, okay? Bye.